Hello, welcome to the Polyglot Files. My name is Michael and today we're doing a video about a language that doesn't exist anymore. I'm not talking about a dead language like Gothic that's been gone for many years. I'm talking about Moldovan, which was a language up until last year, 2023. What happened? Let's find out. First things first, Moldovan was spoken in Moldova, as well as the breakaway region of Transnistria by 2.5 million speakers. Moldovan was part of the Indo-European language family, more specifically, the Romance language family. In fact, on a linguistic level, Moldovan is very similar to other Romance languages. It had a phonetic system of 31 phonemes, including 5 vowels, highly inflected grammar with 3 genders, masculine, feminine, and neuter, as well as fairly extensive verb morphology. In contrast to other Romance languages, however, Moldovan had 5 noun cases: nominative, accusative, dative, genitive, and vocative. This is a feature present in Latin, which is a mother language to all the Romance languages, but most of the other Romance languages have lost their case systems. That's great. She's puking upstairs. Coco, are you okay? You're puking. Reflex. In terms of mutual intelligibility, Moldovan, as expected, exhibited pretty high levels of lexical similarity with other Romance languages. Lexical similarity is the measure used to show how strongly the vocabulary between two languages overlap. For example, Moldovan had 71% lexical similarity with Spanish, 75% with French, and 77% with Italian. That means that between 70% and 80% of all Moldovan vocabulary was similar to these languages. Moldovan's lexical similarity with Romanian, however, was nearly 100%. That means that the vast majority, if not all of the words in Moldovan, also existed in Romanian. This led to a very high level of mutual intelligibility, and this meant that speakers of Moldovan could communicate with and understand speakers of Romanian, and vice versa. Just how high? Take a look at these two writing samples. The one on the left is Moldovan, and the one on the right is Romanian. There is only a difference of one word in the two texts. Despite this, the spelling variation makes no difference in the understanding of the word, as the Romanian language itself pronounces these two letters the same way.
Având.
In fact, it is this mutual intelligibility that led to the Moldovan language's demise. To understand what happened and figure out why Moldovan is no longer a language, we need to delve into the language's past. After the fall of the Roman Empire, the area known as present-day Moldova experienced many invasions and conquests. These were most notably orchestrated by the Huns, the Goths, the Mongols, and the Bulgars. The native inhabitants of modern-day Moldova spoke a language that evolved out of Vulgar Latin in the 2nd century CE. At the time, this language was known as Romanian, and Romanian's isolation from the other Romance languages meant that it retained some influences from the neighboring Slavic languages, and it had some notable differences from the other languages in its family. It wasn't until the establishment of the Principality of Moldavia in the 14th century that this idea of a Moldovan language and a Moldovan identity began to flourish. Even still, during this period, the term Moldovan was used interchangeably with Romanian, and Moldovan wasn't considered a separate language. Moldova as a political entity enjoyed varying levels of autonomy from its neighbors, but that all changed in 1812 when the ruling Ottoman Empire ceded the land of Moldova to the Russian Empire. Thus began the Russification of Moldova and the eventual inclusion of Moldovan territory in the Soviet Union in 1940. Even though the Moldovan language hadn't really developed any distinguishing features from the Romanian language, this was the first time that, on an official level, Moldovan was called its own language. In fact, the Soviet Union promoted the uniqueness of the Moldovan language and the Moldovan identity as a political tool. The Soviet Union even imposed the Cyrillic alphabet on the Moldovan language in 1924. This was all done in an attempt to isolate Moldova from Romania and other countries in the West, as well as justify its separation from other Romanian-speaking peoples. However, we all know what happened to the Soviet Union. The 90s arrived, and Moldovan began to return to its Romanian roots. Firstly, the Latin alphabet was reintroduced to the language in 1989, and in the 1991 Declaration of Independence, Moldova declared that its state language was Romanian. This, however, didn't carry over into the 1994 Moldovan Constitution, where Moldovan was again declared to be the official language of Moldova. Even as recent as 2004, over 60% of people in Moldova said that their native language was Moldovan, not Romanian. Over the next 19 years, much debate and political discourse was focused on the status of the Moldovan language. Many wanted to hold on to the language as a sign of Moldovan identity and independence. However, many acknowledged that Moldovan was really just Romanian with a slightly different accent and some small vocabulary differences. Many academic studies were produced during this time with the aim of trying to distinguish Romanian from Moldovan, but these studies were unable to find any significant differences. Finally, in 2023, the Moldovan parliament passed a motion declaring that the official language of Moldova was Romanian, no longer Moldovan. This effectively ended the existence of the Moldovan language. This motion has been met with a surprising amount of acceptance. While the Moldovan bloc of communists and socialists did oppose this change, and the Russian government weirdly declared that the Romanian language should be renamed to Moldovan, not the opposite, this hasn't really caused much political unrest, and most citizens seem to be okay with their native language being called Romanian. It is noteworthy, however, to point out that the breakaway region of Transnistria does maintain that their native language is Moldovan and not Romanian. This change, though, has led to the examination of other languages that would be better recognized as dialects. This is the case with Afrikaans and Dutch, Serbian and Croatian, Danish, Swedish, and Norwegian. Either way, I'm interested in your thoughts, especially if you have studied or you speak Romanian or the language formerly known as Moldovan. You can share those thoughts in the comments section, but also feel free to check me out on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. As usual, thank you for watching the Polyglot Files, and I will see you next time. Goodbye!